Hey y'all, this is Sam Serious. So, yeah, there's the NASA workbench. This is by far one of the most expensive blocks I've made. Two EVs, no, two IV circuits, multiple EV circuits invested in that, as well as a few HV circuits, as well as nether star plating. Yeah, this is a very expensive block to work with. But hey, just feed in all the materials necessary and I'll be making a rocket. So I do plan on going into the moon in this episode. It's been a long time in the prep works with that. I had to do a lot of changes to the base and stuff like that, add a lot of infrastructure, so I can go over that real quick. So this is, of course, as you all have seen in the last episode, the space base here. I created some long distance pipes to go from the main base to here to supply the benzene and other possible resources that could be needed, as well as to supply some items to the oil processing system I was set up in this base. On top of that, I also created a fluid input line for the oil processing too as well, all through long distance pipes. I could just feed some known knuckle tubes and they'd be able to transmit multiple fluids at a time through one long distance pipe. That'll do the trick. But yep, and wait, 36. I think I need 37 for the quest. That's my miscalculation. I ought to make some fixes to that. But while I'm going to do that, I can give a quick through on some very major changes and additions that's been made to the base. As general progression through HV, I had to expand on power infrastructure, so I've added some additional powerless ovens to this, as well as upgrading the energy hatches to all the powerless ovens in V tier, doubling the process speed. All the powerless ovens are now running in with nitro coils to basically speed up the amount of resources being processed without consuming more energy in the process. The energy consumption per tick is still the same. It's just the time for benzene production is reduced with thanks to those coils. Hence the discount. On top of that, I got two distillation towers that's give me various byproducts as well as benzene. And any wood tar that's being produced is overflowing to these HV distilleries. These are producing the rest of the benzene. With the distillation towers, I've gotten, besides benzene, creosote oil, phenol, choline, and dimethylbenzene. Three of these I'm going to be able to use in a fair amount. Dimethylbenzene, it'll be useful later on. Man, this pollution system's really punishing. I also upgraded the MV extractors to HV versions to process charcoal a bit faster too as well for wood tar processing. I might add to this later on depending on what I need to do because right now I'm just stockpiling on charcoal, having it all get converted blocks or having the rest of the excess get voided out. I would like to be able to use nearly every single bit of that. But that was necessary because all these LCRs and other machine walls have really ramped up energy consumption. So using a LV crop manager that wasn't really using much anymore, I decided to bring in a bunch of rake plants. Rape plant per flower yields considerable more seed oil versus other plants in general. So I decided to go for a rape plant farm since I've gotten rape before, I know how to get it. All this going to LSTR with some sodium hydroxide to pretty much create the biodiesel and the glycerol with. Luckily, I'm able to take the biodiesel a step further and turn it into cetane boosted diesel. Just simply mixing sulfur with acetic acid to create ethanol. Ethanol then turning into tetranitromethane, which I could make just mixing ethanol with nitric acid together to make that. And mixing biodiesel, and this can be done with regular diesel too as well. So any diesel fuel mixed into that will produce cetane boosted diesel. Nice thing about this is that according to what I've read about earlier, it can be used as rocket fuel. All the way up to tier 2. That's good to know. Unexpectedly, I produced rocket fuel out of all this. And then with nitric acid and some sulfuric acid, I'm making a nitration mixture. I'm mixing with glycerol to make the glycerol tritonate, which I'm then mixing paper and string with to make dynamite with. I need to supply this with string, of course. Now, I am producing a fair amount of toluene too as well, so I can make a bunch of gel toluene to make ITNT with too as well. But this here for now works just fine. And I'm doing some other processing and stuff like that. This here, the centrifuge system, from yellow garnet, I'm able to get anhydrite dust, I believe it's called. Yeah, a little bit of anhydrite dust, roseller, and euvorite. The anhydrite dust actually has a trace amount, has actually has a 6% chance of getting some rutile out of it. That is titanium. So a large sample of that was enough to get me enough titanium to make some EV machines necessary to make more titanium with. And of course, I'm making aqua regia for other things I'll be needing in the future. I'll touch on that when the time comes. But yep, that's pretty much that setup. And then I got a bunch of advanced breweries producing biomass from the excessive saplings from both of the bonsai tree farms. I did create another bonsai tree farm as a tower to advance on to the next tier. Please give me a second. I'm being interrupted by a cat. Got my buddy. Yeah, I appreciate y'all's patience. He does this little thing where he likes to walk in front of me and sometimes walk on the keyboard. I can't have him jumble things up. Hey, buddy. It's fine. Oh, Ivan, not this way, bud. Ain't my fault you chose to jump up in the midnight, man. Love you too, guys. uh, anyhow, yeah, this installation tower here is from the fermenter is turning the fermented biomass into as you all know, acetic acid, ethanol, methanol, ammonia, and methane gas. Oh wow, I'm well stockpiled on ammonia. Yeah, ammonia I'm using to make nitric acid with. Methanol I'm using to make biodiesel with. Ethanol, I'm producing way more ethanol, so I'm strictly having that being used to produce polyethylene with. Oh, and fertilizer. That fertilizer is being redirected to the LV crop manager for the right plants. This year, I'm producing the most amount of ammonia with, just mixing nitrogen and hydrogen together, and all that ammonia goes into the this large chemical reactor for the nitric acid. Ammonia does get produced from this distillation tower setup, but it's very little at a time, considering the fact that only very little saplings are being processed at a time. So I felt the necessity to add an LCR here to speed up nitric acid production. I also had to upgrade my nitrogen supply too as well. So using 11 HV compressors, I'm creating the air cells necessary to extract air from, and all that air going into all the four of these vacuum freezers then get converted into liquid air, which I'll then centrifuge later on into all the various gases. It's actually yielding more gases as well as a more variety of them. Like I'm getting more nitrogen gas out of it. I'm getting oxygen, argon, and some noble gases that I'm centrifuging down even further to get carbon dioxide, helium gases, methane gases, and deuterium. I also set up an electrolysis wall, mostly to produce hydrogen and oxygen. All of these we normally get stockpiled in these tanks, but these are being redirected to my primary work area. At this point, I feel like these tanks are overly redundant, so that might change. So that is the infrastructure so far. Now, before I start exploring some mild actions of changes that occurred onto the work area, there's actually something cool now too as well. Remember I was mentioning that I was able to produce titanium stuff now? Because I was centrifuging a bunch of stone dust that I was grinding down via macerators from the rock breaker, I'm able to get a wide variety of dust. Biotite I'm using for flooring so I can produce PTFE. I haven't used potassium feldspar yet. Metal mixture that's necessary for getting a titanium from the overworld. Marble dust I haven't really found much of use for yet. Sodalite, a little bit of chlorine and other metals. And quartzite dust, well, quartz stuff. So because of the centrifuging all that titanium, I made an EV molecular separator, which is basically an EV, which is an EV centrifuge. Separated enough of those metal mixture dust to get plenty of titanium. Had to make an EV advanced mixer for another project though to make a certain metal alloy. So this way I can use those metal alloys to create an industrial centrifuge. So this is being supplied by 4 amps of HV power going into two HV energy acceptors. The bauxite and ilmenite that I'm producing from this, I electrolyzed the bauxite for some titanium as well as aluminum, hydrogen, and oxygen. The ilmenite dust, for now, I can only process in the EPF. I do know that there is a more efficient method of processing these through a chemical reactor. Oh, and also this is a passive source of magnesium too as well. All right, I think I can make some superconductors out of that. But yeah, a lot of things are going. And the biggest and most important change that I've made to this is, as y'all could probably have already seen, but also noticed too as well if you remember the previous videos, all the barrels are gone. All those barrels are gone. All of these barrels of ore, gems, and stuff are gone. Some of y'all can easily guess what I did if you haven't noticed it earlier. I have made myself an ME system. Yes, y'all, with all that titanium, Applied Energistics requires a whole lot of titanium, so I invested all my the rest of the titanium into inventory management, whether it's because of the big backpacks or simply because of the machines necessary for Applied Energistics. So I got myself the crafting terminal, energy acceptor, energy cell, so that was a buffer to make sure I don't black out the whole system due to the lack of energy. Because the energy acceptor can buffer only so much. So I need a bigger buffer to handle a large amount of items going in and out at a time. I got the ME port to handle drives, having items from certain drives go to other places to maximize storage. So workbench, I partitioned a few drives. But yeah, I am using let's see, 6 ME drives. I can add 2 more to maximize the channels. When I upgrade this cable to a dense version, I can go and have up to 32 in a single wall. And some of these were initially 1K drives, but throughout time, I was able to upgrade these to the 4K drives, which made storing things way more efficient. So yes, I've done a lot. Oh, that's the 37th alloy. All right. I guess I have to make a quick dash back to the enclosure compressor, but yeah, a lot has happened. Oh, I also set up a PTFE wall that I briefly mentioned about. This, out of all of the chemical processing walls for single block machines, this was probably my most complicated because if they tried to compactly set up a bunch of chemical reactors and electrolyzers in a way where it's able to stay local and be automated on its own while using the GT tanks to extract fluids out of cells in the back. The fact I'm having to oscillate between physical and fluid inventories this way, it's very cumbersome. That's why I made the push for PTFE so I can make a large amount of LCRs, because LCRs, as long as you have the proper amount of fluid hatches, those will output fluids directly without the needs of using cells. So this leaves me inclined to make a whole lot of LCRs for fluid handling in the future. This way I'm bypassing the annoyance from the chemical reactors here. And LCRs, they're not too expensive. But yeah, thanks to all of that though, I was able to make plenty of PTFE, which you often need for the LCRs. And that PTFE will be helpful for other things. Anyhow, what I'm going to be doing off camera is that I'm going to be finishing up the preparation work for the rocket. Because for to go into the moon, though, I definitely need a large supply of oxygen. But I'm also going to be needing lots of storage, lots of the compressed chests. Because if I'm going to be up in the moon, I'm going to want to maximize my time at the moon and make every ounce of the trip worth it. So I'll be needing like more. I'll be needing more of the compressed chest for more of the HV miners, so that way I can get like multiple ore batches of rutile and bauxite and stuff. I will be crafting a lot of prospectors too as well, because I will want to prospect a lot of stuff on the moon. Then I'll be I want to have the materials to create a temporary moon base up there, so that way I have a good spot where I can produce oxygen comfortably without having to run out of oxygen out on the moon's surface. Because I might have to AFK up there for a while, possibly. I want to do so safely as possible. As well as be slowly setting up oxygen gear for me to use. So I got a little bit of additional infrastructure to plan for. And plus two, I might be able to put together a petrochem processing in this episode. If not, it's alright. Next episode. All those machines that I've showed you previously before, I'll make a tutorial video on those so that way y'all can see exactly how things been done with that. Anyhow, I will be seeing y'all when I'm ready to go to the moon. There we have it. A Tier 1 rocket. It's pretty cool. I got the silo. Could launch this thing. That is after I'm prepared. I still got more work to handle for the preparation of that rocket, but yeah, things are coming together now. Once I get all the compressed chests and all that made, and all the other miners and all made, as well as all the gear that I'll need to survive up in space and all, I'll go up there and get the moon going. Okay, so at this point, I've gathered all the materials. I got a bunch of fuel, way more fuel than I needed. I made a bunch of prospectors, a bunch of locks, cans, carried a whole lot of cells, made some extra oxygen tanks. I'm kind of having a little bit of extra redundant materials for something I need, but I feel like I'd much rather be over prepared than to be under prepared. Anyhow, I got the rocket down below fueled up. I got the hang gliders and stuff like that. I won't be needing a thermal padding for the moon, so I got some frequency module with the parachute, oxygen mask, and the gear, as well as full tanks. Okay, so I'm pretty much prepped up, fully repaired my materials for the most part. Of course, I'm stocked up on food, so oxygen, food, gear, and all the prospectors I'll be needing. And plus, if I need to recharge battery, I got a bunch of basic gas generators, some cells of benzene in them, and a low voltage battery buffer for the LV batteries. I got the rocket. Again, I filled it up. It's just waiting to launch now. The only thing left to see now is to see what the current moon phase is. I can't really see much with the moon information right now, so at this point I'm just stalling out time, wanting to see what the moon phases is. Ideally, I want this to be at a full moon phase for I want to be able to get in there without having to worry about hostile mobs event initially. So if I can achieve that, then I can get a good head start on mining. Once I get all the miners placed down, I created four more of the miners. Once I got all those miners placed down, then I'll focus on hunting down the dungeon to get the tier 2 schematic. Anyhow, y'all, when I see the moon's at a desirable state, I will see y'all for the launch. So lucky draw of the timing here. Full moon. That's the power of the glider. Anyways, y'all, yeah, lift off. The glider off. It looks a little funky. So far, so good. As a big note, this is the first time ever going to the moon in survival Minecraft. So this will be a totally new experience for me. So I can use HV stuff to make a space station, huh? Not that I need to do that. Hopefully lag doesn't get me killed here. Just control the velocity here. 10 blocks per second would be ideal. Snag the rocket here. This is here. I guess I don't get the lander back. All right. First of all, I'm going to establish a central point of the map here. We call it home point. This way I have a central point of reference for this. Oh. Oh. I'm going to have to keep a close eye on oxygen in that case. All right. That's good to know. Now, first of all, I'm going to make use of a prospector here. There's some bastionite, iron, pyrite, neodymium. All right, not bad. I gotta test this theory. I'm pretty sure the devs, I figured the devs saw this through. So, all right, I got plenty of food. It's not neodymium. Oh my god, molybdenum's attainable in the moon. Luckily, I already got a molybdenum vein up there, but wow. From the nether. Not completely in vain, though. So, goal here is to start locating all the titanium veins I could find. That could be bauxite or ilmenite. Okay, cool. Looks like I found some ilmenite already. Though I kind of misclicked on this one. Which is the ilmenite. Okay, bauxite and ilmenite. And there's some galenite too as well. Okay, I will go ahead and gather some bauxite. Luckily, there's no rain here, so I don't think I have to worry about the rainy weather. Hopefully, this whole turbo gas engine setup will work with this. Oop, oops, on my behalf. Let's see if it does. Yes, it does. All right, I am going to chunk load this. And then I'll just simply rinse and repeat all this. So I'll see y'all when I start placing down all the miners. And look what I discovered along my way here. A moon village. I'll check more of it out just out of curiosity, see what it's all about. But yeah, interesting little find. So they have their own little wood. It's all glitched out, obviously. Those must be the space villagers. can interact with them, right? Not in a general sense as a villager. But yeah, interesting to see there's watering trees here. These guys have been here for a while. Alright. In the meantime, back to the mining business. Well, what'd you know? In the midst of the questing I'm doing here for titanium, I managed to find a dungeon. So I'm already knocking off multiple goals already. Cool. Once I get the last miner placed down, I'll focus on that next. Alrighty. So I'm pretty much at the location of the dungeon. I've restocked all my oxygen tanks as I probably should. And I got the get the heck away from me frying pan ready. And these spawners take a long time to mine. Oh, that's what I've forgotten. Light source. Which means this place is going to be exceptionally dark. Luckily, the hallways are just bright enough for me to see. So I know it's the Wither boss. Not the Wither boss, but Wither skeleton boss. It's gonna be the boss fight here, but it's much better. Okay, so I pretty much backtrack with that. I'm not too worried about dying for if I take a fatal blow, it'll The last stain enchantment on my armor will take away from my XP instead. So it's not this way with the dungeon and stuff. Is this dungeon like a dead end? Already my inventory's getting a bit filled. Don't know what I do. I don't trust that tooltip. Yeah, I think this is the bathroom. Okay. It's an annoying boss, actually, but yep. And I got the key. Cool. And good news is, too, as well, is I got the tier 2 rocket schematic on top of this. Oh, it's not harvestable? It's alright. I might stumble across another dungeon, because I plan on staying in the moon a little bit longer, too, as well. Anyhow, I'm going to explore this dungeon a touch more. And where are these zombies coming from? Excuse you? Yeah, I'll see you all around then. Oh, look at that. Another dungeon. Literally right next to spawn. Why not rate it, eh? Rise and shine, another morning on the moon. This would be start of day number 4 on the moon. I've been on here for about 3 lunar days, each at a complete cycle being 2 hours 40 minutes. So I've been practically all over the moon now, I've harvested all the ilmenite veins that I found. All I've been focusing on harvesting for the last for the last few hours is all the bauxite that's closest to me. I've also quarried down some moon rocks down a bit too as well. So I've got like nearly 4 compressed boxes worth of compressed chests worth of moon rocks. I'll be processing them down in the long run. I pretty much got all 8 of the miners pretty much fully cold now. The additional 4 miners will definitely help me with other operations too as well to gather resources in mass. So anyways, I got lots of ilmenite, good amount of bauxite, perlite, and a few other things. Crushed ilmenite, more crushed ilmenite and crushed ores, chests, more ilmenite ore, lots of ilmenite ore in here. It's pretty much a whole chest full. So we're winding up having more titanium than what I know to do with. At least for the short moment. Eventually I'll be going through all that. So the moon overall was a pretty easy experience. Mostly because I over prepared, but also too, it's actually not as difficult versus the overworld. The mobs in the overworld are actually way more brutal than the mobs here are. It's just that zombies in general are faster. Skeletons, every hit you receive will shoot you up in the air. I've stumbled across 2 dungeons. The one closest to the base is either a dud or has the boss fight room very well hidden. I'm not really inclined to waste any further time on this one. I have stumbled across a 3rd dungeon, but my armor's too beaten up to for me to want to go through that. I don't want to. I don't want to spend extra time having to recraft the armor or to sift through all the other armor sets and burn through enchantment levels with that. So I pretty much got everything now pretty much set up to get myself going for days. I even had a lot of mission success here to get a tier 2 rocket schematic. That's the important element that I was really needing, that rocket schematic. I probably won't have to come back to this moon again for a very long time, if ever again. Maybe for more moon rocks and some more bauxite to get more titanium and aluminum from. But that's probably a matter to worry about some other time. Note to self next time, though. Make sure I bring light sources. I forgot to bring multiple stacks of niter with me, so it was a little awkward trying to navigate around in the dark. That's probably my little change I would do next time. Other than that, and stock up with a little bit more food. I still got a few cans of food available on me, but I started running low. I got plenty of energy. The Galactic Craft machines are very energy efficient, minus the fact that they have energy lost through time and energy storage. The food would have been my first thing I would have ran out of, especially with me quarrying around here. Lux, they'll last you a long time. I even managed to get two medium tanks from mob drops. So I got better tanks without having to spend any meteoric iron to make these. So I'm happy. Anyhow, time to head back home and check on everything again. I got the rocket nice and fueled up again, so time for liftoff. Hell of a first time run with Black Craft. In that case, I better get the glider out. Just in case your mechanics don't work. I think the parachute will automatically deploy on me, but if not, I got the hang glider to save me. I could have actually established a base this whole time to kill time with. It's alright, I got what I wanted done. Back to the world I go. Oh, well, what are the odds? I'll land on a tree. Just a rocket back. That little chest. So, alright, I'm just gonna glide back down to my base. So, within the next episode, I'll be more focused on producing EV infrastructure. I will be doing a lot of element processing in between episodes. Wish it wasn't raining right now. So I figured get a whole lot of titanium stuff set up so I can make more EV machines. Let's note the moon will actually produce molybdenum more frequently than what the nether has done. At least that's so far what it looks like, since I've found more batches of that just exploring around within 1 hour versus 3 hours going through the nether. And I got plenty of other things where I can get neodymium out of a sluice juice when I process more of the lunar products. I'm gonna have to do some general maintenance. Plus, too, as I expand on EV equipment, it also means I can redirect more of my equipment to ME systems. So this could suggest that automating equipment is very imminent, possibly. I'll have to dig around the recipes to know for sure. More possibilities have now opened up because of all this. So I'm going to have to browse around as I process the ores. Anyhow, y'all, for those of y'all who've been sticking around this whole series, I do appreciate y'all taking the time to do so. It's been very long. I know I've been slower than average on GTNH and stuff like that. Been doing a lot of things. Plus, too, just savoring the mod pack. I'm in no hurry. Anyways, I gotta do some upkeeping on the base, get things started. Uh, In the next episode, I will definitely be starting having a good foothold on EV. I've got a plat line to think about. Anyhow, y'all, I wish y'all well and take care. Appreciate y'all sticking around with this major episode of GTNH.